Well, I'm about to do something that I am virtually constitutionally unable to do. But every now and then, my job as pastor has to overtake my role of vocation as priest and do some leadership in the parish. And especially today, with the scriptures being so rich and so beautiful, the gospel we just heard is like the linchpin in Mark's gospel. And maybe I'll work that into my homily somehow next weekend for you. But then it occurred to me that rather than talk with you about the gospel today, I want to give you a chance to simply and very practically live in your life the scriptures. That is precisely the scripture that Father G referred to, the letter of James today, where James says, essentially, faith without works is dead. Show me your faith without works. That works are essential to who we are as a people of faith who follow Jesus. And so to offer you a chance today to engage in that. Because as you are very much aware, here in the Catholic Community of Pleasanton, every September is Sign Up Month for ministries. I hope that earlier this month, or at the end of last month, you received this mailer that we sent to everyone who was registered in the parish and had a chance to look it over in terms of some of the ministries we're most in need of help. But just as a way of sort of situating our conversation this morning, we are a very blessed parish. In a time when the church is struggling, our community continues to grow. As you know, every October, we'll be doing this starting next week, we count the number of people who attend Mass. And last October, our number was up by 200 people over the previous year, which was up by 200 people over that previous year. While the parish has been growing, unfortunately, the number of people in active ministry has been diminishing. Every September when we have Sign Up Ministry Sunday, essentially what happens is the same people who have done ministry for years sign up for ministry, with very few new people joining ministries. And over time, people move away, people retire, or some people pass away, so the number of people doing ministries gets smaller and smaller, and it creates a greater burden on the same number of people. So fortunately, it's a very easy problem to fix. We just need everyone to step up and volunteer to take part in a ministry, because it's so incredibly true that many hands make light work. And the more people who volunteer for ministries, the less work there is for everyone, and the more the parish thrives and we're a sign of hope and light in the community. My experience as a priest for 29 and a half years is quite honestly this, that within every community are the gifts needed to meet the needs of every community. It's just a matter of calling forth those gifts. And so that's what I hope to do today. It occurred to me that every September, since the pandemic, I've asked you to take the ministry sign-up form home and discern whether or not you were called to ministry. That's a silly question. You don't need to discern that. Of course you are. We are all called to ministry as followers of Christ. That's not a question. The question is, which ministry are you moved to serve in? So today I want to go through that a little bit with you, but a few points about all the ministries before we talk about some specifics. The first is, if you sign up for ministry today, you're signing up for one calendar year, January 1 through December 31 of 2025. We do sign-ups now so that in October, November, we can get everybody trained and everybody in place and ready to go come January 1. And we will provide training for every ministry that requires training. And to tell you honestly, even though you sign up for a whole calendar year, if you give it a whirl and the ministry is just not working for you, or on the other hand, if you being in the ministry is not working for us, we'll let you know. Let us know. We'll switch it up. You're not like, we're not going to force you to stay in ministry if you're miserable and unhappy and not doing well. We want it to be a place where your faith grows for you. If you're currently in a ministry this year, thank you so very much. If you wish to continue that ministry, please sign up for it again for a new year. As James says, without works, our faith is dead. In the pew pockets, you will find this little form. I invite you to please take those out, pass them around so that everybody has one, because even if you choose not to sign up for ministry today, you're going to learn something about your parish, I bet, as we go through this form. If you'd like to, on the back of the worship aid or on the back of the form, there's a QR code, and you can simply scan that, and the same information will show up on your phone, and you can simply follow along or sign up electronically if that works better for you. So, as I mentioned, the more who minister, the less each of us will have to do. So to walk through the form quickly with you, at the very top where it says Ministry Sign Up, there's just some biographical information. We ask you to please provide that so we can get in touch with you about your ministry. If you don't happen to have a pen with you, there should be little golf pencils in the pew pockets as well that you can use today. So thank you for that. And then we start with the ministries. Funeral mass coordinator is the first one you see listed there, which can be challenging because usually our funerals take place on Monday through Friday around 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the morning when many people are working and not available, although we do have some funerals on Saturdays as well. The role of the funeral mass coordinator is you arrive before the funeral, obviously. You set everything up for the funeral. Again, you'll be trained in that. You sort of welcome the family, and if the funeral directors have any questions for the mortuary, you help them out. Make sure that everything flows smoothly and well. You're never assigned to a funeral. What happens is, when a funeral comes in and gets scheduled, Deacon Gary emails everybody who has said, I'll be a funeral mass coordinator, and says, hey, anybody available to take this funeral at this date and this time? And you volunteer yourself. You say, yes, I'm ready to do that on that date and that time. As a parish, we have on average between 90 and 100 funerals a year. So again, the more people who are willing to be funeral mass coordinators, the less weight that is on each and every person who volunteers for that ministry. Next on the list is the Liturgy Planning Committee. They meet once a month, but not during the summer, and they're the folks who look at the upcoming seasons, whether it's Advent or Christmas or Lent or Easter, and help figure out how we're going to keep that season as a community. Liturgical environment you'll find next. That's essentially decorating the church for the seasons, and also includes caring for like our live plants. Like during Easter, we got all the flowers and things blooming around here. Many of you know J.C. Calderon, who has pretty much essentially by herself, along with her husband, done this for us for years. Sometimes we'll get a call out to the night for some volunteers to come like help set up Christmas trees. But J.C.'s been amazing at it. And while she's not retiring from it, she also has a new role in her life as a grandma. So she's got other things to take her time, so she needs some backup. Not backup as a grandmother, but backup for our environment. So if you would like to decorate or help us with the church, that's the place to be. Thank you so much for that. Live stream volunteer for daily mass, funerals, and weddings. This is the one that most people go like, what is that? As you may be aware, we live stream our 12:10 Mass. We live webcast it Monday through Friday every week. This Mass right now is being live webcast. And more people are asking us to live webcast funerals or weddings so that folks who are out of state or even out of country can watch and pray with those important moments in people's lives. We have a very small number of people trained to operate our live webcast. And we're looking for more people who'd be interested in doing that, who could help us out on the weekdays with the live webcast, or on the weekend with this live webcast, or for weddings and funerals. So if you're interested in that, helping us do that ministry, please check that box. Next, Daily Mass Sacristan. As you know, we have Daily Mass here at St. Augustine at 8:30, Monday through Saturday, and on Monday through Friday, 12:10 over at Seton. The Daily Mass Sacristans arrive early. They set up everything for the Mass. They make sure that all the ministers are there. Again, you're trained for that. It happens fairly easily. You open the church, close the church, all that kind of thing. Nice and simple. Thank you for that. Altar linen ministry. All the linens that we use here on the altar, the corporals, the purificators and whatnot, those need to be laundered regularly. And so in this ministry, you would come pick up the laundry from the sacristy, take it to your home while you're doing other things, binge watching TV, making dinner, doing whatever. You wash that laundry, it then gets pressed and ironed and returned here to the church for our use. The way that's worked in the past has been we've had about 12 ministers, so everybody gets 1 month. But as I say, many hands make light work. If we have 24 ministers, it's just 2 weeks a year that you would do that. So thank you very much for considering altar linen ministry. Eucharistic adoration, a different kind of ministry. It's the ministry of prayer. We have regular Eucharistic adoration scheduled in the parish. You can find those times on our website. Indeed, for all these ministries I'm talking about, there's more information for you on our website. But whenever we have Eucharistic adoration, we want to make sure that as Jesus is exposed in the monstrance on the altar, that there is always someone present in prayer. And we could use more folks for that. It'd be a great time for you to come read your scriptures, do silent prayer, pray a rosary, whatever kind of prayer works for you. There are many parishes that have Eucharistic prayer round the clock, 24 hours a day. It would be nice if we could expand that ministry because there's always great blessings and graces for a parish that flow from Eucharistic adoration. Next on the list is our Hispanic ministry, which basically are the folks who put together our amazing Our Lady of Guadalupe celebrations in December, but we're also looking for Spanish-speaking catechists or teachers for grades 1 through 5. Those classes are held on Monday evenings starting at 5:45. So again, if you'd like to help with Our Lady of Guadalupe celebration, or you speak Spanish and would like to educate our children in Spanish faith formation, we'd love to have you there. Next up, wedding coordinator. Wedding coordinators get the joy of working with the young couples who are getting married in the parish. They meet with them to help plan their wedding ceremony. They're there on the day of the wedding to make sure everything flows smoothly. They set up for the Mass. They welcome guests. They put things away after Mass. It's really a very enjoyable and always hopeful ministry as you share the joy of young people who are entering into the sacrament of marriage. Then we come the next 5 ministries: altar server, lector, extraordinary minister of communion, usher, greeter. Those are all ministries that happen here at Mass. Like I say, if you're not sure you have time to do anything else, these are ministries that take place right here in the church when you come to Mass on Sunday anyway, so why not volunteer your time and your care during these ministries? First what I'd like to mention are the altar servers. You notice it says 4th through 12th grade. Actually, we will take altar servers who are younger. If you've got someone who's younger than 4th grade who might want to be an altar server, please sign them up, and Deacon Gary will talk with them about it to see if they're really ready for that ministry. And actually, the ministry does not top out at 12th grade. We do have adults who are altar servers. They're excellent at it. And Deacon Gary was even saying he'd love to see like a family that would altar serve together or be ushers and greeters together. So consider doing that as a family. So that would be wonderful as altar servers. Lectors, you know, they are very important. They proclaim the Word of God. Ushers and greeters who are there, extraordinary ministers of communion. They help distribute the body and blood of Christ. We should always have plenty of those ministers on hand. Ushers and greeters, I cannot tell you how important they are. They may seem to be sort of incidental. You know, you walk in the church, they hand you a worship aid, and that's all good. But I'll tell you, as I tell them, you never know when someone comes to church and you greet them what has happened in their life that week. If they've lost a loved one, if there's been a diagnosis of a serious illness, if they've lost a job, you don't know if the person walking up is maybe a visitor from another place in the country or the world. We always have all kinds of visitors here. You don't know if someone's been away from church 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And your smile and warm welcome sets the tone for their entire experience of our community. As you welcome them to the house of God, it makes all the difference in the world. It's so much more than just saying good morning and handing a worship aid. It makes such a difference. We need more ushers and greeters. One of the reasons we don't have all the doors of the church unlocked for you to come in as you arrive is because we simply don't have enough ushers and greeters to man them all. And I think that at least as everyone arrives at church, someone should say to them, good morning, welcome, glad you're here. So ushers and greeters are so important. If you sign up for one of those ministries, I invite you on the side there, just to indicate what your Mass preference is. If you'd like to serve at the 10 o'clock Mass, please put that down so we know what Mass you'd like to serve at. Then, of course, we have all our various choirs. Our children's choir from the 4 o'clock Mass, our teen choir at the 6 o'clock Mass, our adult choir that ministers here at the 10 o'clock Mass, and our cantors like we have today, singing the psalm, or at other Masses the cantor will lead the music. Obviously, there's a commitment to rehearsal during the week for that, but if you'd like to participate in one of our choirs, please check that box. I would love to see those pencils going right now for all our choirs. So those are our liturgical ministries that surround our Masses and the worship we do. Next up, you see faith formation, which is the bottom of the front page and the top of the back page there, if you take a look at that. In every age, no matter what grade we're talking about, we can always use more catechists, that is teachers, to help our young children and our young people grow in their faith. Whether it's grades 1 through 3, 4 through 5, 6 through 8, or our high school confirmation students, we would love to have your help with that. You also see there RCIA and Spread. RCIA would be your opportunity to journey with adults who are seeking entrance into the church, often through receiving the sacraments of baptism, First Eucharist, and confirmation. Journeying with them is always very enriching for people. And Spread, In the spread religious education ministry, we assist individuals who may have things like Down syndrome or autism or cerebral palsy or other similar situations. We help them grow spiritually. They prepare for their sacraments. We help them just to know how much Jesus loves them, how much they are part of our community and who we are, and that we care for them. Again, for all these things, training's provided. And chances are you actually know more about your faith than you know you know. You probably know more than a kindergartner, first grader, or second grader, so you could easily teach them some of the basics of the faith. But staff is always available to you if you have questions or you're not sure what to do. That's always there for you. And to tell you honestly, all you need is a willing heart, and it takes over, and amazing things happen. And you'll probably see your own faith grow as you teach others it. Then we come to our service and outreach ministries. Let me run through these very quickly with you. Many of them I think you're familiar with. Ministry to the sick, homebound, and hospitalized. This is, of course, visiting the sick, praying with them, bringing Holy Communion to them. My own mother, before she passed away, was in John Muir Hospital in Walnut Creek for many, many weeks, and St. John Vianney Church is just across the street there. It was always wonderful to see her smile when a minister of communion arrived to pray in Our Father with her and share communion with her. It was very, very encouraging and hopeful for her. Same thing with my dad, who a year ago was in Valley Care, and our ministers would go there to visit him. Every time they were there, I heard about it. I absolutely heard about it, who it was that had come and what a great job they had done. We're a large parish, all of Pleasanton and Sunol, with many people at home or in skilled nursing facilities and a hospital to cover. We want to do that well and provide excellent ministry, so we need those ministers who will visit the sick and bring them Holy Communion. Grief ministry. If you've lost a loved one, you know how valuable that is to have people there to journey with you through the stages of grief. Again, a caring heart is the primary requisite to share with those in grief ministry. Detention ministry. Santa Rita Jail is welcoming ministers back to help with things like communion services, to assist at Mass, to assist when we have reconciliation services. I know the idea of going into Santa Rita Jail can sound kind of scary. I remember the first time many years ago when I was a baby priest here, and Father Dan Danielson said, "You'll be going to the jail to hear confessions." And I was like, I walked out going, that was the most amazing ministry I had had up to that point in my life. Our incarcerated brothers and sisters are so open and so in need and so genuine. And in all honesty, as we know, growth in our lives only happens outside our comfort zones. So I encourage you to challenge yourself and maybe do ministry in detention ministry. And again, if it ends up not working for you, no harm, no foul. You gave it a shot, and we can find something else that maybe fits you better. St. Vincent de Paul. You know, we have a St. Vincent de Paul Society. We have a second collection for them the 5th Sunday of every month. St. Vincent de Paul assigns teams each week, 2 people, so that if anyone comes to the parish looking for help in terms of housing or food or with rent or with bills, the team meets with that individual, evaluates their situation, and we try to help them as best we can. We always need more people to help St. Vincent de Paul. Baptism team couples, right? That's where I'm at. Yes, it is. Baptism team couples assist Deacon Joe Gorley with preparing young families to baptize their infants. Normally, baptisms of infants are held on the 2nd Sunday of the month. The class is held before that. We'd love to have more couples assist in that ministry. We could really use them. Gather and Share ministry. You're familiar with Gather and Share because they will be providing donuts for us next weekend. They also put together the amazing Holy Hoedown that we had last fall. They're putting together the Roundup that we will have on November 3rd. They also, at 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock Mass on next weekend, will be doing cookies and lemonade. They did cookies and hot chocolate during Advent in the grotto and other such activities. Their real charter is to help us be a more welcoming community where everybody feels they belong and involved. And they can always use more team members because they've got so many ideas and wonderful things they want to do for us that they simply need more manpower. So thank you for considering the Gather and Share ministry. Giving Tree ministry, we all know how important that is when the Christmas season gets here. So it's a seasonal ministry, not year-round. It helps coordinate that ministry, sort the gifts if necessary, and communicate with the various parishes around the diocese that we serve. Next up, Knights of Columbus, you know the Knights. Several of them are here today in their blue shirts. You know the good work they do for us. But they also have, next under that is the Junior Knights of Columbus, which is for boys between the ages of 8 and 17. They help the Knights of Columbus with their events, but they also do events of their own. They have movie nights with our altar servers. Basically, Junior Nights is an opportunity for young men and boys to build community and fellowship with each other in a Catholic environment. So that's available. Legion of Mary, weekly prayer group that gets together, another opportunity for prayer. The Prayer Shawl Ministry is looking for crafters of all levels and all experience. Not only do they make prayer shawls that are shared with people who may be in need or have had a loss, but they also craft hats and scarves and washcloths that are given to the homeless. Small Christian Communities Core Team. We currently have 36 small Christian communities that meet somewhat regularly. And of course, that number grows pretty dramatically when Lent gets here, and we do small Christian communities as a way of keeping Lent as a church. They're always looking for core team members that will help coordinate those groups, research materials, and make recommendations as resources for those groups. So that sort of work is very important, the core team for small Christian communities. Social Justice and Outreach Ministry. Again, you're familiar with some of their work here in the parish. Fair Trade Goods Sale, Fair Trade Easter Candy Sale, Habitat for Humanity, the Rice Bowl program. They also make choices about grants that we give to worthy organizations. And we're always looking for more members of our community who are willing to try to live out in a very positive way the social justice teaching of the church. Our welcome table, they will be outside today at Coffee and Donuts. Just a friendly face to welcome new members, answer questions about the parish. They have resources available and gifts for people. It's another one of those, if you're here, why not do it while you are here opportunity. You can have your coffee, your donut, and welcome new people for our welcome table. Catholic Youth Organization, our CYO group, always looking for more coaches, for high school students who are willing to serve as referees for basketball games, and other adults for adult leadership roles like equipment management and that kind of thing. All right, if I have lost you, because there's been so much information and material, I need you to come back to me right now. Because this next one is my number one concern in terms of our ministry as a parish, and that is funeral receptions and parish receptions ministry. I mentioned to you that as a parish we have between 90 and 100 funerals a year. And some of those folks will have receptions after funerals in their homes or sometimes a restaurant. But many of them ask to have receptions here at our hall, which is so convenient for after the funeral here in the church. God bless her and may she rest in peace. Joanne Duncan headed up that ministry for us for many, many years. We now really at the moment have effectively no funeral reception ministry at all. And I really think as a parish it is so incumbent upon us to provide that ministry to those who have lost loved ones when they come here to celebrate their life, for us to pray for them, that we can host those receptions for them. Here's what that means. It means you do not set up tables and chairs. It means you do not cook the food. What it means is you host the family and their guests for the reception. You might put up tablecloths on the tables, bring out the paper plates, the utensils, put on the coffee and the hot water for tea, maybe bring cookies. You welcome the caterer when they arrive and help them set things up so they know where everything goes. And then you're there to help the family if they need anything during the reception. And afterwards, anything you've put out, you put away. That's what it is. And again, the more people who volunteer for that, the lighter that load will be on everybody. Again, that often happens on a weekday morning or mid-morning, but also sometimes on a Saturday. It's a ministry we really need. In addition to that, we say parish receptions ministry because a couple times a year there's a few other moments when we need receptions. After the Christmas concert, the last day of the parish mission, after the Easter vigil, and those receptions are pretty simply cookies, cake, champagne, and punch, very easy to do. And every now and then we need a reception for like when new priests arrive or priests are departing or priests are having a big event in their life like a 30th anniversary of ordination. Don't know who's doing that soon, but those sorts of things come up and we like to celebrate those moments. But seriously, the funeral reception thing is a great concern of mine. We don't want to say to families, can we have our reception here? We don't want to say no. we want to be able to welcome them for that. Because for many families, it's a moment when they've been away from the church and they're coming back. And it's a moment to show them the hospitality and the warmth of our community. Finally, there you see Vacation Bible School. That's one of our best events all year, every year. Again, it's not a year-round ministry. It happens in June. There's some prep time before that. We always need crew or station leaders for the various events that happen during Vacation Bible School, and people who are creative and willing to decorate. Or if you're not creative and just willing to help put up what the creative people tell you to do, we could use you. Transforming the hall is a very huge and fun job every year, and we need people to do that, even if you're not creative. So for example, next year, Vacation Bible School has an Alaskan adventure theme to it. It's called True North, Trusting Jesus in a Wild World. So we need to turn the hall into Alaska. Not an easy thing to do, but we need people who would like to help make us do that. So Vacation Bible School, exhausting, but so much fun. So please join us for that. Then you see a few lines there. If you have any other talents or skills that you'd like to share with the parish. There might be other things that God has blessed and graced you with which you can enrich our community. You may be a landscape architect. You may be a seamstress or a tailor. Maybe you love doing data input or data entry. Maybe you really like to clean things. We can find something for you to do with that. There's always possibilities. So if you have another gift or skill you'd like to share with the parish, please write that down there. Again, there's more info on the website on every single one of these ministries. You can sign up by scanning the QR code if you're not ready to sign up at this very moment. But I thank you for doing this. As James indicates, our faith is demonstrated by our works. And I know there's a lot of work to be done outside the community, but we have a lot to do right here, because this parish has always been, not only in Pleasanton, but to the diocese, a leading parish, a place of hope and a place of light. And it's because so many good people give of their gifts and their skill and their time. For those of you who have done that for so many years, unending thanks. God, whose generosity is never outdone, will bless you abundantly. And for all of you who are signing up today, maybe for a first time, thank you for your willingness to give it a shot. Give it a shot. What's the worst that could happen? You end up going, nope, it's not going to work for me. My ministry must be somewhere else, and that's totally cool. I'd like to give you a moment to fill this out and then invite the ushers to come forward and collect them. Once you've finished it, please pass it to the center aisles there, and our ushers will pick these up for you. Again, you can take this home and fill it out at home or fill it out online. And I thank you for your prayerful consideration of making sure that your faith is expressed in the works of your life.